Hello YouTube, this video is going to be in reference to someone, and it's not just one person, it's actually quite a few people who say that you cannot play PlayStation 1 physical discs on your PlayStation 3. And that's bullshit, because it does work. All PS1 discs work on any PS3. So here is a PS3 Super Slim, and I will be showing you the other two. This one is the most recent model. And I'm going to go into the PlayStation Store, but first I'm actually going to show you that we are running on the latest version, which is what that error was. And then if we go into, let's see, I think it's system settings. Sorry, it's been a while since I've had to do this. And here we go, system information. As you can see, version 4.85, and that proves that this is the most recent version of the PlayStation 3's firmware. This is not a custom firmware or anything like that. There's no Hinkaku or anything like that that's going on here. This is just a regular old PlayStation 3. And next I'm going to go into the store. I'll show you that that actually loads and that this is actually functional. And we're going to go find PlayStation 1 Classics. And the reason I'm going to do that is I've picked specific titles from my PS1 library that are not on the PS1 Classics list, which means you cannot download them unless you have custom firmware and install them to your PlayStation 3. So let's take a look here. PlayStation 3 is pretty slow. Get this out of the way. Okay, come down here to games, all games, and then we'll go to filters, game type, PS1 Classics, and then sort A to Z. Okay, and then I'm going to show you I believe I have 4 games that we're going to be using for this particular video so that you guys can actually physically see that these games don't exist on the PS1 Classic list. They are actually physical discs being played. And I'm not going to cut the video while we're doing the testing either, so that you can actually see me putting in the discs to the actual PlayStation 3. And that should hopefully reassure a lot of people that this is real. And of course you could try this yourself. It'd be a lot easier than watching a video, but here is Diablo, the original Diablo. I wish they had Diablo 2 for the PlayStation 1. That's the disc there. And then let's go ahead and look at their little list here and see if it is on it. So there is B, C, come on, Delta Force, Dino Crisis. So it would have been right around in this area. It would have been right before Dino Crisis, and it's not there. Doesn't exist. Next up, we have Kodelka. This is a turn-based RPG toward the end of the life of PlayStation 1. Really good game, by the way. Somewhat expensive now, but 100% worth. Even if you just emulate it, it'd be worth it to play. Show you the first disc there. As you can see, oops, hitting buttons on the PS2 controller there. Okay, and let's see if they have this on their list, which I already know they don't, but I'm just trying to be a smartass so that somebody can't come back and say that I was trying to fake something. Okay, so there's only a couple of games that start with K on the PlayStation Classics list. Clearly, it's not there. We next have NFL Blitz 2000. This one, the case is not in the best of condition, but put that back on. Oops, keep tapping that R2 button. And then let's go down to the N, and then I will bounce back up to the B, just in case they had put it in the B for Blitz, but they didn't. And as you can see, there's actually no NFL games that are backwards. Well, not backwards, but are on the PlayStation Classic list. And then let's go back up to B. It's D, C, and there's B. As you can see, Bloody Roar, but no Blitz. Okay, last up we have Tiny Tank. Great 90s humor, shoot 'em up type of game with a tank. You do get some free roaming, I guess, with this game, but still fairly linear. But fantastic game. Cheap, too. This game, I think, is around 20 bucks. So if you get a chance to get this bad boy, try it out. Well worth. Okay, and then again, let's scroll down. This is just to verify. I'm only going to do this once. I'm not going to do this with the other two systems. And yes, I am going to show the other two systems. The PlayStation 3 Slim and the Fat model. I have an 80 gigabyte version that is still working, so I'll show you that one as well. So as you can see, Tiny Tank, not a game that's on here that you can download and play. Okay, so what are we going to do next? What we're going to do next is I am going to start putting games into the PS3 so that you can actually see them starting, running, you can hear them playing, and you know what's going on. I will go in the order that I showed them originally when we looked at the list. So that first game is going to be Diablo. Take it out. And then PlayStation 3. As you'll see, we'll read it in a second. There we go. And then I'm going to let it start up, and we're actually going to walk around in the game a little bit. And then we're going to move on to the next disc. I'm going to do this with all four, for all three consoles, so that we don't have any doubt as to whether or not this is working. This is unequivocal proof that this works, in case you don't have a PS3 for some reason, to test it yourself. This 100% does work, and anybody who says it doesn't is misinformed or lying. I'm not sure which. I'm wondering if this had something to do with like some kind of fanboyism for the 360 or something, just because like everybody always wanted to talk trash about the PS3, and so I've always wondered if that had something to do with it. But either way, it does work. Okay. Press start to continue. Seems like an appropriate name. Hope you're all patient because these loading screens are killer. Diablo is actually one of the worst ones for saving and loading, if I remember correctly. It's been a while, but alright. As you can see, obviously this is real. Okay, next disc, and I'm actually going to take it out on purpose while it's still turned on, while it's still in the game, so you can see what happens. And the sound cut out because it does not have a disc. It still keeps playing because it's a PlayStation 3, but the sound cuts out because the disc isn't there, and it doesn't have that information loaded ahead of time. So that's why that happens. Okay, next up we have Kudelka. I'm going to put in disc 1, of course. Okay. And then we need to obviously exit out of Diablo here. Go back to the main menu. As you can see, it's read the disk. I'm going to start it up. I don't really have much else to say, so I think I'll try to keep it as quiet as I can for you guys, so I'm not just annoying you saying the same shit over and over again. So from here on out, I'll just let this play until we get to the next system, and then we'll do the exact same thing where we get a PlayStation Slim and show you that it's actually working, and that the Slim has not been modified in any way, and that it works perfectly, and then we'll go from there. Okay, next game. And in fact, you can actually, this is a great example here. The disk cover is open, please close the disk cover. Check it out. If that's not proof, I'm not exactly sure what is. Not only did the message go away, we're now watching this again. Okay, quit out of that one. Next up we have NFL Blitz 2000 with a broken ass case. Oops.
Presents NFL Blitz 2000. Today's matchup, the Arizona Cardinals versus the Green Bay Packers. And this game is underway. He just had him for luck. He's running with that had to.
Alright, that's NFL Blitz 2000. And last but not least, we have Tiny Tank. So Yeah, come on.
Rehearsal for Get Out the Vote promo. Take one.
Wahoo! Hi, America! Hi, boys and girls! It's me, Tiny Tank!
Cue the theme song. Tinky Tinky Clinky Clanky, new from Centrex Tiny Tank, America's lovable.
Wait. Is that my theme song?
Well, it hasn't been finalized yet.
Wanky, wanky, tanky, tanky, what the is that?
You're being difficult.
You're being a... I got a positronic brain.
There, what you just did. That's the spirit we want.
Who?
A Centrex, it wants funding for a robot army
Ooh.
to replace humans in wars.
Ah, and I'm the cute little mascot.
To get people to vote yes.
Can I change my name at least?
To what?
Mechanicore? Tank of Doom?
From the top, Tiny.
Tiny Tank is my slave name.
Oh, please. Vote promo, take two. Tiny.
Tiny's not here. I am Mechanicore, Tank of Doom.
Look, Tiny, you're cute and you're a killing machine. What's wrong with that?
It's creepy.
It's not creepy. It's cute. It's cute.
A cute killing machine? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I got an 80mm cannon for a nose. Hey kids, is this cute?
Oops. Okay, we'll wrap for the day. Get another camera. Try again tomorrow. You okay, Fred? I'm all right. Props, blanks for the tank next time.
Best opening ever, IMO. Alright, so that concludes the Super Slim testing of the PlayStation 1 games on a PlayStation 3 Super Slim. So I will make the cut here, and then I will hook up the Slim PS3 so that we can see the Slim PS3 doing the exact same thing the Super Slim did, and then finally I'll hook up the fat 80GB model so that you can see that too. Although I think most people think the fat models do it and the other two don't. I think most of the contention lies with this particular model and the original Slim. But again, like I said, I am going to show you all three. So I will make a cut here and we will show you the other two in just a moment. Alright, so now I've hooked up the PS3 Slim, not the Super Slim. This is the 120GB model. And this one's got the lights on the front for the eject and the power button. The later Slims did not have that. But that doesn't matter because it's a Slim and it's going to serve its purpose for this test. The later ones will do the same thing, that they're not different. It's not going to matter if they have a light or not, they all work. So here is, once again, in order, we're going with Diablo first. Oh, here. I'll show it from this way, that way everybody sees the disco in it, I guess. Okay. This one has auto start, so it's just going to jump right in. Okay, that's it for Diablo. I'm going to go ahead and grab the next disc. It's going to be Kadelka. Okay, Kadelka. Same error as before. Not gonna put it back in this time though, we get the point. Okay. Next up is NFL Blitz 2000. That was NFL Blitz 2000. Next up, and last but not least for the Slim, is Tiny Tank. Oops.
Rehearsal for Get Out the Vote promo. Take one.
Yeah, we already saw that. Okay. So that's going to conclude the Slim testing. I think what I'll do before I end this, because I know somebody's going to say it, is we're going to go look at the firmware real quick. Yes, this firmware is not the most recent firmware. And no, I don't care. You could take a hike because this is a Slim model PS3. And if I ever want to put custom firmware on it, I don't want to upgrade any further than I already am. So let's take a look at that real quickly here. Just so I'm consistent. I can't get into the PlayStation Store because I would need to update to do that, and therefore I'm not going to do it. This one is on version 4.82, so there you go. Anyway, the last part of this particularly long video will be the fat 80 gigabyte model, and so I'm going to go ahead and cut here, and I'll bring you that to finish up. Alright, back for the third part of this particular video, and this is the PS3 80 gigabyte. This is a backwards compatible fat model. Let me hold it up for the camera here real quick. This is the original size and shape and everything. This is not the first model that came out, but a few later. This was the last model to feature backward compatibility, and so I imagine everybody expects this one to work, but nonetheless I am going to still show you the other stuff that I showed you last time. Again, this one is not going to be on the most recent firmware because I do not want it to be, because I want to be able to custom firmware this eventually. So 4.82, same as the Slim. You can see that the hard drive sizes are obviously different. Put an upgraded hard drive in here at some point. And then we will get started with our games. First up, Diablo. Also, I'd like to just note that the firmware does not matter. Any firmware will work, doesn't matter how old or how new. Obviously, I showed you 4.85, that's the newest, and I don't have any that are older than 4.82, unfortunately, I wish I did. But these have the older firmware and they still work, and if you had one that had even like the 1.0 firmwares, it wouldn't make any difference. It would still function the exact same way, so you don't ever have to worry about that. Okay, do the same thing I did in the other two videos. Okay, so that's Diablo. Next up we have Kadelka. That's interesting, sun came back. Didn't know I did that. Maybe it's just looking for an actual disc. Doesn't really care which one. Learn something new. Okay, that's Kadonka. NFL Blitz.
Midway presents NFL Blitz 2000. Today's captain, the Denver Broncos take on the San Diego Chargers. And this game is underway.
First down.
To Sharp. Decapitated him. It's shot.
Okay, NFL Blitz 2000. And last but not least, we have Tiny Tank.
rehearsal for Get Out the Vote promo. Take one.
Wahoo! Hi, America. Hi, boys and girls. It's me, Tiny Tank.
Cue the theme song. Tinky Tinky.
Here you go, cowboy. Don't still let go. Lock and load. Hang up your spurs.
Okay, and that was Tiny
Don't still
Tank.
let go.
So, the next time somebody has a discussion or claims the PS1 games do not work on PlayStation 3, feel free to show them this video or any of the other videos that are out there, honestly, that they do. And in fact, it's not really that hard to understand why they do, because they say they do. Sony always said they do. It's in all the manuals. Multiple people have proven it on the internet, and that's that. So I hope you guys liked it. If you did, subscribe, all that good stuff that YouTubers always say, and we'll catch you guys next time.